The legal battle over tariffs adds to the economic uncertainty businesses are trying to navigate. An analysis from Reuters has found that Donald Trump's trade war has, so far, cost companies more than $34 billion in lost sales and higher costs, with that figure tipped to rise. Jeff Moon is former assistant US trade representative for China.
It's definitely significant. It's a bit unexpected, but the impact is really mixed. From an economic and trade perspective on the ground, it probably doesn't make much difference, because even if Trump's tariffs pursuant to the International Economic Emergency Powers Act are invalidated, he has other legal authorities that he can use immediately to bring tariffs back up to the same level. Now, the economic effect, however, is different than the political effect. The political effect, of course, is that Trump has lost faith, that he doesn't have the authority that he thought he had. But in terms of democracy, I think this is a great victory. This shows that that democracy is working. The judiciary is acting as a check on executive authority. And all of this happened because small businesses and states went to court to rein in executive authority. So that's why I say the picture is mixed.
So there are these legal levers at President Trump's disposal, but is the administration's argument that tariffs are necessary for national security or economic protectionism legally viable?
Well, there are different meanings of those words. You know, there are those words as we use them in common parlance and those words in terms of their legal effect. What strikes me is the fact that we've been running deficits here in the United States in terms of our trade with foreign countries for literally decades, and it's a bit surprising that that's never been considered an emergency before. I think a lot of countries, if they were running deficits on this level, would definitely consider it to be an emergency. Now, some of Trump's tariffs don't fit into that category, and here I'm thinking about the fentanyl tariffs. Fentanyl is a criminal problem. It is not a trade problem. Really doesn't belong in this context. But certainly I think the deficit question does.
And Jeff, you described this as a victory for democracy, for the rule of law. But how do these ongoing legal battles impact the reputation of America in terms of its partners and its allies?
Well, the U.S. Trade Representative just had an interview about 2 hours ago on American TV, and he says that the conversations with all the partners are continuing. And I think that's appropriate. A lot of them are not really commenting because it's not really clear where this is going to go, especially if I'm correct that, you know, in terms of what's happening on the ground, it really won't that much of a difference.
And what's your sense of the long-term impact of these tariffs? We've seen $34 billion in estimated business losses due to them. Could the real number end up being much higher?
There are just too many variables out there for us to really know what right now. What we do know is that Trump has backed off from catastrophic tariffs. When we were up to 145% and bilateral trade with China was essentially paralyzed, he stepped back because that kind of destruction was really unnecessary and unwarranted and unwise. So I can't predict a number, but I do predict that we will be at a level where bilateral trade will be able to continue.